Discord. So I'm just a little on edge, a little bit on edge, because I've been stopped 5 times. The odds are against me. But I made a reading video a little while ago, and only one person commented asking for it again. But I am extremely biased because I love reading, so I thought that I would do it again. So today we're going to read the book called Tell Me What Really Happened by Chelsea Sidoti or Sidoti. I'm not really sure how to say that. I don't have the best pronunciations. I've got a nice little woodwick candle burning in the background. A candle. Hopefully that covers up a little bit of the background noises. Like my AC and stuff. Or at least it hopefully adds just a little relaxing aspect to the video. T-T-E-L-L-M-E. Tell me what really happened. By Chelsea Sidoti. Or Sidoti. For E and M. Part 1. We'd like to ask you some questions about what happened last night. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. We just want to get to the bottom of this. You want that too, don't you? Great. Please answer honestly and be as detailed as possible. The more you tell us, the better our chances of finding Maylee. Petra, I don't think you grasp the urgency of the situation, so let me break it down for you, okay? Maylee Hayes is lost in the woods. She has no jacket, no hiking boots, no GPS, and this is a girl who once got lost going to Starbucks 3 blocks from her house. It's gotta be, 2 p.m., something like that, so there are only a few hours of daylight left. And you must have noticed that we've got freaking apocalypse-level storm clouds rolling in. Also, and this is something I really shouldn't have to educate you on, the first 48 hours are crucial when searching for a missing person. My point is, I don't want to tell you how to do your job or anything, but maybe, instead of sitting here asking me the same questions 50 billion times, you should be looking for Maylee. Nolan. Maylee Hayes is dead. Yeah, sure, I know Petra disagrees. She thinks Maylee's just lost, and she's pissed we didn't do enough to find her. Last night in the woods, after everything, Petra starts barking out orders, telling Abigail to search the perimeter of that creepy cabin, telling John to wait at the campsite in case Maylee comes back. She tells me to call 911. I point out that we don't have cell service, and even though it's so dark I can hardly see Petra's face, I just know she's looking at me like she wants to knock my teeth out. She says something like, "Oh my God, then walk down the road until you do, Nolan. Do I really have to lead you through this step by step?" I start to walk off. That's how screwed up my head is. I actually move through the forest to make the phone call, even though being alone in the woods is beyond dangerous. The only reason I stop is because my feet get all tangled up in a patch of ivy. That's when I notice that Abigail and John are standing there like statues. Petra's like, "Are you hearing me?" She shines her flashlight back and forth between them. They both look like they're maybe gonna cry or vomit at any second. Petra notices too because her voice loses its edge. She says, "What's wrong? Someone tell me what's going on." We don't have time for this unless we want to end up like Mealy. We've got to get out of the woods fast. No searching, no wasting time trying to find cell services. We need to leave. I try to tell Petra that. I try to tell her what I saw. Of course, she immediately freaks the fuck out. Don't you dare start with all that trash right now. I will kill you. I swear to God, Nolan, I will kill you. So I stop talking. What else am I gonna do? Even now, probably at this exact moment, Petra's still telling herself that Mealy is alive out there, taking shelter under a log or something, saying she'll be found soon enough, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. Mealy is dead. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm positive. I saw it happen. Pause. It was by the creek, I think. I don't know. I got all turned around. Mealy had run off, and the four of us were looking for her. We split up. Petra said not to split up, but no one listened. So I'm alone, and I hear this noise, this wet sound. Like when you're cleaning soggy leaves from the gutter, and a whole handful of them splats on the ground. I move toward the sound, pushing through bushes or ferns or whatever they are, wishing it wasn't so dark. My flashlight beam is too weak and cut through the trees more than a few feet. Let me adjust the gain a little bit. My S's are so, harsh. Okay, maybe that'll help. I'm trying to be quiet, but snapping twigs. With every step, I'm so focused on how much noise I'm making. I don't notice the forest has gone weirdly silent. No pine needles rustling, no bugs or birds or other animals. I should have noticed right away. I should have. I stumble and reach out to brace myself against a tree, stick my hand in something damp and slick, that disgusting moss that grows on everything around here. I'm in the process of wiping the slime off on my hoodie when I see lights. Two glowing pinpricks hovering in the air. Except they're not lights, they're eyes. Its eye shine reflected from my flashlight beam. Blue eyes. I freeze because I know what's happening. I know exactly what's happening. I've been reading about this my entire life. It feels like forever. I'm looking at this creature and I know it's looking back at me. It breaks eye contact, turns back to the ground, back to what it had been doing before I interrupted. That's when I realize Mealy's body is down there. And that wet sound I heard, the creature, it's ripping her apart. Abigail. Nolan ran up to me and his eyes had turned into hard little marbles and his mouth was moving, but no words came out for the longest time. Then finally he said, "It's eating her. It's eating her." I asked over and over, what is a bear? But he kept shaking his head, and I asked, "Did you shoot it?" Because I'd heard the gunshot, you know. Nolan said no, and he was trembling so bad. It was like an earthquake had started in his belly and was jolting through the rest of him. I thought maybe he was having a panic attack. That happened to a lady at Sunny Acres once. She got super scared when her tabby went into labor. The cat was so overweight the lady didn't know it was pregnant, and she started to panic, only she thought she was having a heart attack. Before then, I hadn't realized panic attacks were so serious. Kids at school say stuff like that midterm gave me a panic attack. After the thing with my neighbor, I was always going, that's not what a panic attack actually is, though, but I don't think anyone was probably... Oh, sorry, what was I saying? Right, okay, so Nolan and I were shaking. So Nolan was shaking, and his lips were kind of blue, and I wondered if I should call an ambulance, only there wasn't any cell service. Just tell me what you saw, I begged him, because I thought if I just knew that part, maybe I could figure out what should happen next. And Nolan, he tried to tell me. He told me something. He wasn't making much sense, though. I guess we were all so scared, probably none of us knew what we were saying. Besides, it ended up not mattering, because right then John stepped out from behind an old fir tree. He had Maylee's blood on his hands. John, I think I'd like to speak to a lawyer. Chapter 1. For our records, please state your full name and your relationship to Maylee Hayes. Petra, oh my god, you're seriously going to make me do this? Fine, my name is Petra Whitfield. That's Whitfield. Maylee Hayes is my best friend. Trust me when I say that no one knows Maylee better than I do. Pause. You want me to get into all that? Really? Pause. No, I don't mind. I just wonder if, there's a more efficient use of your time, but whatever. Since it's so important to you. Maylee and I met on the first day of kindergarten, back when I was this raggedy ponytailed mess. It was before my dad married Brenda and he tried his hardest. But he wasn't exactly prepared to raise a little girl on his own. That morning, my class was waiting on the black tub for our teacher to open the door. Of course, my dad walked me right up to the group and reminded me 12 times not to leave the premises without anyone but him. Then he triple-checked my list of emergency numbers. You know how he is. When I finally left, I saw Maylee for the first time. My eyes snapped right to her. It was because of her hair. She had this slippery-looking gold hair pulled back into the neatest French braid I'd ever seen. It stood out because that's how I'd wanted my hair. Every night for a week, my dad watched tutorials and practiced French braiding while telling me bedtime stories. He couldn't get it right, though, and honestly, even properly braided, my frizzy brown hair wasn't ever going to look sleek. I inched closer to Maylee, just to get a better look at her braid. I was mesmerized by its twists. I wanted to reach out and touch it. I almost did. Maylee noticed me then. I was 5, so I didn't feel like a creep. I just really casually said, I like your braid. She looked at me harder and was like, your hair is messy. I just nodded because obviously she was right. Then she glanced down at my rainbow-striped Keds. She said, we have the same size feet. We did. We still do. Maylee said we should trade one shoe. She didn't even wait for me to respond, just pulled off one of her glittery Mary Janes, the left one. One of the clearest memories of my life is looking down and seeing my rainbow shoe on my right foot and Maylee's shoe on my left. We walked around like that all day. It felt kind of like an announcement. Kids looked at my feet, then Maylee's, and thought, oh, okay, they belong together. And we did. We still do. Pause. It's weird. You kind of forget how many good memories you had with someone until... Pause. Never mind. I don't even know where I was going with that. Have I mentioned that I haven't slept in like 35 hours? Nolan. My name is Nolan Anderson. I didn't have a relationship with Maylee. She was my stepsister's best friend. That's all. Petra. Yeah, Nolan's my step-brother technically, but our parents have been married since I was 7, and he was 6. We grew up together. It's kind of weird to add some qualifier like before brother. Nolan. It's different for Petra. Her real mom died. My parents just got divorced. I go to my dad's every 3rd week and alternate holidays. He's remarried, and I have 2 half-brothers. It's cool that Petra wants to act like we're bio-siblings, but I'm not going to ignore a whole other half of my life. Petra. Of course Nolan feels the same way about a relationship as I do. I mean, we've never talked about it or anything, because Nolan's not the sort of person you have a big heart-to-hearts with. But some things you just know. John. My name is John Massey Jr. And Maylee Hayes. What? Coughs. Sorry, I'm getting a cold. My name is John Massey Jr. And Maylee Hayes is my girlfriend. Abigail. Maylee was a friend of mine. A sort of friend, anyhow. Maybe more of an acquaintance or someone I used to be friends with. I don't know. It's actually really complicated. I was excited about the camping trip because I thought, oh cool, maybe Maylee and I could get close again. And it was a chance to get to know Petra and John and Nolan. I saw them around school, but that's basically it. Like, before all of this, I'm not really sure they even knew my name. So I thought maybe I could make some new friends, I guess it's not going to work out that way. Huh? Oh, right. I'm Abigail Buckley. Oh, wait. You want me to say my full name? Do you mean my middle name too? Abigail Amelia Buckley. Then, the Abigail is for Nana Abby, and the Amelia is for Grandma Amelia, who I never actually met because she died before I was born. because that's what happens when you do drugs. You die young, way young. And that's the reason I should never touch them. Also, because they're really expensive. He always tells me I better not get into that stuff because he won't be paying my debts. But I wouldn't be interested in drugs anyhow, not even if I was trying to make a good impression on someone who offered them to me. Not that I've been in that situation, really. 2. How did the camping trip come about? John, before we get into this, I want to make something clear. This isn't my first time in an interrogation room. I know the drill. I know not to talk. My lawyer, she says innocent people who have a long history of talking themselves into prison. They figure they've got nothing to hide, so what's the harm in telling the cops everything, right? But no matter how innocent someone is, if they talk long enough, eventually their words can be twisted, especially when the person in question is a black boy being accused of murder. Pause. My lawyer's not happy I'm saying this to you. I can tell by her expression. She actually advised me to leave. Let me know I'm free to walk out of here unless you charge me with something. But I won't. I'll sit here and answer your questions honestly and cooperate to the best of my ability. That's all I'll do, though. I won't let my guard down. I won't volunteer more than exactly what you asked for. I won't be tricked into incriminating myself. I love Maylee and I want you to find out what happened to her, but I've got to protect myself too. That's what she would want. Pause. With that out of the way, the camping trip was Maylee's idea. I think she originally meant for us to go alone. But Petra invited herself along. Nolan. I never asked whose idea it was to go camping. I assumed it was Petra's. She's always trying to coordinate camping trips, even though she's the only one who likes them. Well, her and Ray. That's her dad. Personally, I try to avoid the woods, especially the woods around Salvation Creek. I've got an entire file on that place. Petra, I love my brother, okay? He's this really great guy in so many ways, but I absolutely cannot tolerate his conspiracy theories. Nolan, the only reason I was on the camping trip at all is because I was guilted into it. Believe me, the last way I choose to spend my time is out in the woods with that group. I'm just saying, I've got literally nothing in common with them. Petra, honestly, I'm not sure if Nolan has friends. Nolan. Maylee and John are, I guess, air quotes, popular. Like, maybe not top tier popular, but just below that or something. I don't know. I have no idea how that hierarchy bullshit works. John, Maylee's popular, yes. I wouldn't say the same about myself. People only know me from student council and a few different clubs I'm in. Yearbook, debate, that kind of thing. Petra, Nolan spends all of his time online, and I get that he's talking to people on those forums or whatever, but those aren't real friends. Nolan, my mom and Petra act like online friends are fake. My mom, I get, it was different when she was growing up, but Petra, sometimes I want to shake her and be like, what year do you think this is? Do you know how many people live their entire lives through a computer screen? Petra, sometimes I look at Nolan and think, one day, you're going to look back and realize just how much stuff you missed out on. Nolan, Ray is the only one who stands up for me. He tells my mom and Petra to back off, says don't force Nolan to live the life you want. Except with the camping trip, he completely betrayed me. He's the one who pushed me to go on with it. He talked about it over dinner last week, but I guess that was only 3 nights ago. That's, sure, okay. Time feels really weird right now. Anyway, everyone's at the table eating tuna noodle casserole. Except for me, I've got a grilled cheese, and Petra mentions camping at the Salvation Creek. Ray tenses immediately. He's not some controlling asshole or anything like that, just the most paranoid dude I've ever met. I guess it makes sense, obviously. You know who her dad is. Abigail. Petra's dad is a cop. That's why my dad always told me to steer clear of her. He says not every cop is rotten, but enough are that you should avoid them all just to be safe. Pause. Oh my gosh, why did I say that to you? Can we pretend I didn't? Sometimes words fly out of my mouth before I even realize it. It's actually super embarrassing, and anyhow, I'm sure you're not bad cops. You've both been really nice to me so far. Really. Petra, look, I know my dad is paranoid, but he's been on the force for 25 years, working his way up the ranks to lieutenant, as you know, detectives. Of course he's paranoid. always treated me adequately. Nolan, so Ray starts asking all these questions. Who's going on the camping trip? What time are you leaving? What time will you be home? Do you have the GPS coordinates of the campsite? You'd think he'd have implanted Petra with a tracking device by now. That's the thing people do, you know. The government might not want to talk about it, but I'm just saying, it happens. Petra's keeping her cool because she's used to this kind of third degree from Ray. She's prepared with all the right answers. It says she emailed him a file of the map and the itinerary and the phone numbers and addresses, and probably blood types of everyone who will be there. That's when my mom starts in. She's all, Nolan, wouldn't it be fun if you went camping too? Yeah, sure. Loads. The same way PE is fun. I can see from Petra's scowl that she's not thrilled about the idea either. Who wants their step-sibling tagging along when they're trying to party with their friends? My mom goes into this long speech basically about I'm a failure at life. I spend too much time in my room. I need fresh air and sunlight. Like I'm a fucking tulip or something. She says I need a change of scenery. I need more social interaction. I need exercise. On and on and on. And she wonders why I prefer the weeks I'm at my dad's house. That's when Ray gets involved. He doesn't give two shits about me getting fresh air, but he's like, if you went on the camping trip, you and Petra could look out for each other. Meaning I could look out for Petra. Here's the thing, Ray worries about school shootings, but doesn't make me walk Petra from class to class. He worries about date rapists. Can I even say that on YouTube? My God. Sorry about that. But doesn't make me escort her to parties. He worries she's gonna text and drive, but doesn't make me babysit her when she uses the car. Though he literally won't let us leave the house without lecturing about how even texting at stoplights is bad, how our phones better not be in our hands unless the engine is off. You see what I'm getting at? What's so different about this camping trip that he wants me to look out for Petra? Everyone knows the stories about the woods around Salvation Creek, all the girls who've disappeared there. Kinda makes you wonder, huh? Maybe in his years as a cop, Ray's learned more about that area than he's telling. Abigail, I never asked whose idea the trip was. Does it matter? Maylee invited me, and she's the only one I really knew. I thought it was just great that she wanted to spend time together again. Petra, I honestly found the whole situation weird. Maylee isn't really a camping person. She's not into early mornings or being anywhere. She can't post regular status updates. She always says, what's even the point of doing something if no one knows about it? So it was strange that she wanted to go camping, and even stranger that she wanted to do it in a place where her phones wouldn't work. Pause. I mean, yeah, I had a theory, didn't I mention that I know Maylee better than anyone? Let me put it this way. Maylee brought a 2-person tent on the camping trip, and she sure wasn't asking me to share with her. Both she and John have parents who are at home all the time. You see what I'm getting at? I thought about telling her we didn't need to make a big production out of it. She and John could go, and I'd cover for her if Mom called. But then I thought about the two of them alone at Salvation Creek, and look, they're not exactly wilderness experts. I was thinking, God, they'll probably make a camp on top of a cougar den or something. They basically needed me there to prevent any disasters from happening, which is sort of funny to think about now. Maybe funny isn't the right word. Pause. Anyway, I didn't realize Maylee was inviting Abigail Buckley. I didn't even realize she knew Abigail. If you would have asked me a week ago, I would have sworn they'd never spoken 2 words to each other. If I'd known Abigail was going to be there, I probably wouldn't have pushed so hard for Nolan to come. When I invited him, I was thinking about how awkward it would be me sitting alone by a campfire while Maylee and John fooled around in their tent a few feet away. I was scrambling to find someone to keep me company. Besides, I thought it might be nice to spend time with Nolan. I feel like we hardly hang out anymore. Okay, that's the end of chapter 2. And I think that I'm going to end this video here. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope it was relaxing for you. Relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. Or that you even fell asleep.